So what happens when you take a very quiet, very scholarly mouse journalist and shoot him into the absolute farthest corners of the galaxy? Well, you get the amazing, kind of weird, and super adventurous world of Geronimo Stilton's Spacemice. It's a series that really does put a mouse where no mouse has ever gone before.
Yeah, really. Mice in space. It seems like a simple question, right? But it's the jumping off point for this whole universe of adventures. I mean, how does a book-loving, slightly clumsy mouse who loves his quiet library end up exploring the cosmos? Okay, let's get into it. To really wrap our heads around this universe, we're going to dive into one specific adventure, Slurp Monster Showdown. Think of this book as our guide, our roadmap to the characters, the setting, and honestly, the pure chaos that pretty much defines all their missions. So, first things first, where, or maybe when, are we? And you've got to understand, this isn't just Geronimo's normal life with a rocket ship tacked on. Oh no, we are in a completely different reality. And look, Geronimo himself tells us this right at the beginning. The whole Spacemice series is built on that classic sci-fi idea of parallel universes. And this is not just a little gimmick, you know? It is the foundation for a place where literally anything can happen. So then, who are the Spacemice? Well, they're a family of explorers, a self-described Fabumouse crew, and I love that, who are out there charting the unknown. It's basically the Stilton family, but with a major cosmic upgrade. And you know, any great space crew needs a great ship, and this is their home away from home, the Mouse Star 1. They say it's the most advanced, most mouserific spaceship in the entire universe, and it's the ship that carries them on all of their wild adventures. All right, so we've got the ship, but who exactly is on board the Mouse Star 1? Let's meet the crew. And here they are. This is the spacefaring version of the Stilton family, who go by the name Stiltononics. You've got Captain Geronimo, Trap, Thea, their commander, and grandfather William. Then there are the kids, Benjamin and Bugsy. And of course, you can't forget the super helpful Robotix. This is our core team. So who's in charge? Well, technically, it's Captain Geronimo Stilton X. But as you can probably guess from his little daydream there, he is not your typical brave starship captain. He actually calls himself an accident-prone mouse who would much rather be writing novels than flying a spaceship. He is the definition of a reluctant hero. But the real engine of this series, and where all the comedy comes from, is the dynamic between these two. On one hand, you have the careful, scholarly Geronimo, and on the other, you have his grandfather William, a loud, demanding commander who's all about action and isn't afraid to yell some truly amazing cheese-based insults. Their personalities just completely clash, and that's what drives pretty much every single story. So you've got this reluctant captain and this gung-ho commander. How do these missions even get off the ground? Well, let's just say it's rarely with a calm, well-thought-out plan. It almost always kicks off with total chaos.
So let's set the scene, shall we? Geronimo wakes up and everything is just peaceful, cosmically calm. He's looking forward to a quiet day, maybe have some gorgonzola granola. You know, just a perfect morning for a mouse who really prefers things to be quiet.
But that piece, yeah, it gets completely shattered the second Geronimo walks into the control room because he finds his grandfather, William, has already taken his captain's chair and is just barking orders at everybody. The calm is officially over. And Geronimo's reaction is just total confusion. You can hear the panic in his voice. He's the captain, but he has no idea what's going on. A mission was the absolute last thing he was expecting. And there it is, Grandfather William's response. It's so sharp, so dismissive, and it just perfectly captures who he is. He just sees Geronimo's desire for a little peace and quiet as pure laziness. And before Geronimo can even get a word in to argue, the whole situation just escalates. Robotix, the ship's robot, just chimes in and announces that the launch coordinates are already locked in. The decision's been made, completely going over the captain's head. Which, of course, leads to Geronimo's classic expression of pure shock and terror, holy craters. And you know what? He's totally justified here. He has just been forced into a surprise mission that he knew absolutely nothing about. So the launch sequence has started completely against the captain's will. How does this chaotic takeoff play out? And maybe more importantly, where in the galaxy are they even going?
Okay, so their way of getting around is hyperspace, which the book says is basically accelerating faster than the speed of light. And according to Geronimo, it's a trip that really does a number on my stomach. So yeah, this is not going to be a smooth ride. So what is this super urgent, totally unplanned mission? Grandfather William finally reveals they're going to a brand new planet called Mozzarellon. And where is it? Oh, just all the way at the end of the universe. No big deal. It's a completely uncharted world, and his only reason is because we're explorers. So with the command full speed ahead, the Mouse Star 1 just lurches into hyperspace. The whole ship blasts forward with this huge vroom, and the entire crew is just thrown all over the place, hanging on for dear life. And our poor, accident-prone hero, of course, gets the worst of it. The G-force is so intense that Geronimo is sent flying backward, and he bumps his head so hard that he gets knocked out. What a perfect way to start a mission! And that is exactly where we leave them, hurtling through hyperspace towards who knows what. The crew has been launched on a surprise mission to a planet nobody has ever even seen before. Which brings us to the big final question. What exactly is the Slurp Monster that the book's title promises is waiting for them when they get there?